Hello, and welcome to Live's channel. Today, we'll delve deep into one of Salem's most explosive and emotionally charged storylines that's about to rock the very foundation of Alex Kiriakis and Stephanie Johnson's blossoming romance. The dramatic return of Jeremy Horton to Salem promises to unleash a torrent of unresolved trauma, passionate confrontations, and heart-wrenching decisions that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. The unsettling arrival. When Alex Kiriakis storms through Stephanie Johnson's apartment door, his sharp instincts immediately detect the palpable tension radiating from the woman he's grown to love so deeply. Stephanie's usually composed demeanor has crumbled, replaced by nervous fidgeting and darting glances that betray her inner turmoil. Her hands tremble slightly as she attempts to maintain her usual confident facade, but Alex's penetrating gaze sees right through her carefully constructed walls of protection. The mention of one of the Horton cousins sends shockwaves through Alex's consciousness, triggering a cascade of confusion and mounting concern. His brows furrow deeply as he struggles to comprehend why a simple family name would transform his typically strong-willed girlfriend into this visibly shaken version of herself. The Horton family name carries significant weight in Salem's intricate social fabric, but Alex remains completely oblivious to the dark shadows from Stephanie's past that are now threatening to engulf their present happiness. The haunting specter of Jeremy Horton. Jeremy Horton's unexpected return to Salem represents far more than a simple homecoming for a new employment opportunity. This particular Horton carries with him a devastating history of psychological manipulation, emotional abuse, and controlling behavior that nearly destroyed Stephanie's spirit during their tumultuous relationship years ago. The mere whisper of his name in Salem's social circles has been enough to send ripples of anxiety through Stephanie's carefully reconstructed sense of security and self-worth. Stephanie's paranoia about being watched in the town square now takes on a sinister and deeply personal dimension. Those fleeting shadows she glimpsed from the corner of her eye, the inexplicable feeling of being stalked and monitored, suddenly crystallize into a terrifying reality. Jeremy's presence in Salem isn't coincidental, it's calculated, deliberate, and potentially dangerous for everyone involved in Stephanie's current life, especially her relationship with Alex. The explosive confrontation unfolds. Before Stephanie can adequately prepare Alex for the emotional bombshell that's about to detonate their peaceful evening, Jeremy Horton materializes at her doorstep like a phantom from her darkest nightmares. The timing feels orchestrated, almost predatory, as if Jeremy has been carefully observing their routines and waiting for the perfect moment to maximize psychological impact. His appearance triggers an immediate flood of traumatic memories that Stephanie has spent years burying beneath layers of professional success and personal growth. Michael Rourke's casting as Jeremy brings a haunting authenticity to this pivotal storyline, his physical transformation suggesting the passage of time while maintaining the underlying menace that made Jeremy such a formidable antagonist. The Days of Our Lives trailer reveals Jeremy as a more mature but equally dangerous version of his former self, his eyes carrying the same calculating intensity that once terrorized Stephanie during their relationship's darkest moments. Alex versus Jeremy, the ultimate battle. The inevitable clash between Alex Kiriakis and Jeremy Horton represents more than a simple confrontation between Stephanie's current boyfriend and her toxic ex-lover. This showdown embodies a fundamental battle between Stephanie's hard-fought journey toward healing and happiness, and the destructive forces that once nearly annihilated her capacity for trust and love. Alex's protective instincts surge to the surface as he witnesses Jeremy's manipulative attempts to re-establish psychological control over Stephanie. Alex's confrontation with Jeremy becomes increasingly volatile as disturbing details about their past relationship surface through tense dialogue and threatening body language. Jeremy's arrogant assumption that he can simply waltz back into Stephanie's life and reclaim his position reveals the depth of his narcissistic personality and complete disregard for the emotional devastation he previously caused. Alex finds himself fighting not just for Stephanie's affections, but for her very safety and psychological well-being. The romance novel connection. The timing of Jeremy's return coincides suspiciously with the explosive success of Stephanie's steamy romance novel, One Stormy Night, which contains thinly veiled autobiographical elements from her relationship history. Jeremy's discovery of certain passages in the book, particularly those describing emotionally abusive relationship dynamics, has apparently triggered his decision to return to Salem and confront Stephanie directly. The novel's success has inadvertently provided Jeremy with a roadmap back into Stephanie's life, creating a dangerous intersection between her literary achievements and personal safety. Kate Roberts' involvement in publishing the novel through Titan Publishing has unknowingly placed Stephanie in Jeremy's crosshairs. The book's circulation throughout Salem, particularly among university hospital staff, has created multiple avenues for Jeremy to discover intimate details about Stephanie's current life and her relationship with Alex. This literary success, which should represent triumph and creative fulfillment, has instead become a weapon that Jeremy can weaponize against her newfound happiness. Stephanie's impossible choice. The central question haunting this storyline revolves around whether Stephanie will succumb to Jeremy's psychological manipulation and abandon her healthy relationship with Alex. Jeremy's return strategy appears designed to exploit Stephanie's deepest insecurities and unresolved trauma, potentially convincing her that she doesn't deserve the genuine love and respect that Alex provides. His manipulative tactics include gaslighting, emotional blackmail, and the systematic undermining of her confidence in her current relationship. However, Stephanie's character development since her initial relationship with Jeremy suggests a stronger, more self-aware woman who recognizes manipulative behavior patterns. Her professional success, therapeutic growth, and the supportive relationship she's built with Alex have created a foundation of emotional stability that may prove resilient against Jeremy's psychological assault. The question remains whether this newfound strength will prove sufficient to withstand the sophisticated manipulation tactics that Jeremy has likely refined during his absence from Salem. The stakes escalate. As this explosive storyline unfolds, the consequences extend far beyond Stephanie's personal romantic choices. Jeremy's return threatens to destabilize multiple relationships within Salem's interconnected social network, particularly given the Horton family's prominent position in the community. Alex's role as a Kiriakis heir adds additional layers of complexity, as his family's business interests and social standing could become collateral damage in Jeremy's vengeful schemes. The psychological warfare between Alex and Jeremy intensifies as both men vie for Stephanie's loyalty and affection through radically different approaches. While Alex demonstrates genuine love through protective behavior and emotional support, Jeremy employs familiar manipulation tactics designed to erode Stephanie's confidence and decision-making capabilities. This contrast in their approaches highlights the fundamental differences between healthy and toxic relationship dynamics. Days of Our Lives spoilers promise that Stephanie's confrontation with her traumatic past will force her to make definitive choices about her future happiness and personal safety. The resolution of this storyline will ultimately determine whether love and healing can triumph over manipulation and psychological abuse, making it one of the most emotionally significant arcs in recent Salem history. Friday's explosive Days of Our Lives recap: power struggles, old flames, and shadows in the dark. The Friday episode of Days of Our Lives brought viewers a mix of corporate intrigue, rekindled romance, and creeping danger. From the looming collapse of Titan Industries to Sarah and Xander's fiery reunion, and even a mysterious stalker lurking in the shadows of Salem, this episode reminded us that in this town, nothing stays quiet for long. Titan in trouble. Will Philip and Brady save the family empire? The episode opened with Philip in his office, quietly trying to make sense of a bag of chips. At first glance, it looked like a moment of light-hearted distraction. But the truth was far more serious. Titan, the family empire he has long tried to protect, is on the verge of slipping away forever. Brady and Gabby soon walked in, both carrying the weight of Titan's troubles on their shoulders. The blackout had left them literally trapped inside, the parking lot gates wouldn't open, and in a way, it felt like a metaphor for Titan itself. The three of them were stuck, boxed in by lawsuits, debt, and bitter family rivalries. Gabby, never one to beat around the bush, immediately pressed Philip for answers about the lawsuit. With Brady's encouragement, Philip finally came clean. He admitted that he was considering settling with Tony, a move that could mean surrendering control of Titan once and for all. Gabi's eyes widened as Philip laid out the possibility: Titan could be lost. The gravity of his words hung in the air. For Gabi, the shock wasn't just about the business. Philip made it clear that whatever happened, the three of them would no longer be colleagues. At least, he told her with a bittersweet smile, we'll finally be able to see each other for who we really are. It was a line loaded with meaning, hinting at old rivalries and unspoken emotions. When Brady returned to the office later, Gabi wasted no time throwing him under the bus. She casually mentioned that Brady wasn't even sure if he wanted to stay at Basic Black. This was news to Philip, and not the kind he wanted to hear. For a company already on shaky ground, losing Brady's commitment was another blow. Once Gabi left, Philip and Brady faced each other directly. The tension between them was unmistakable, not just as business rivals but as men carrying years of personal baggage. Philip admitted he understood Brady's hesitation, but pleaded for a chance to rebuild the family bonds that had been shattered. He wanted Titan, and the Kiriakis family, to stand together. And yet, the irony couldn't be ignored. Not so long ago, Philip had tried to frame Brady for murder. Now, he was asking for trust, forgiveness, and loyalty. Could Brady really set aside the past for the sake of Titan? The storm between them is far from over. Sarah and Xander, a reunion written in fire. While Titan's walls trembled, another story unfolded in the quiet intimacy of Xander's garage. Sarah, carrying baby Victoria, promised that once she stepped outside, she would stay away from Xander for good. But Xander, stubborn as ever, didn't seem to care. Instead, Sarah seized the moment to revisit a subject close to her heart: couples therapy. At first, Xander resisted. But Sarah's persistence, gentle yet firm, slowly broke down his walls. After a careful dance of persuasion, she finally convinced him to give their love another chance. What followed was a scene that fans will not soon forget. The two roasted marshmallows together, a picture of simplicity and warmth against the chaos of their shared past. Sarah's pet snake, affectionately named S'mores, even made an appearance in their conversation, a humorous reminder of the quirky bond that has always tied them together. Later, in Xander's bedroom, the tension between them finally snapped. Leaning into each other, their foreheads touched as Sarah's hand brushed against his shirt buttons. Passion overcame hesitation, and they locked lips in a kiss that quickly deepened into more. They spent the night together, reclaiming something they had lost but never truly forgotten. Afterward, Sarah insisted she had no regrets. Yet viewers know Salem too well: reunions this intense rarely come without consequences. The sparks flying between Sarah and Xander may light a fire that consumes them both. Maggie and Titan, a new leader on the horizon? Back at the Kiriakis mansion, Maggie shared a quiet but significant moment with Bonnie. After a long Q&A session, Maggie asserted that Titan still belonged in the family's hands. Bonnie, never shy with her opinions, suggested that perhaps Maggie herself should take back the leadership role. The suggestion gave Maggie pause. Could she step into the role once more and steady the ship that her family built? After Bonnie went to bed, Maggie picked up a book titled A Stormy Night. Her eyes widened in shock and excitement. Was it a revelation hidden within those pages, or a spark of inspiration for the future? Either way, Maggie seemed ready to face the storm that lay ahead. Meanwhile, Gabi made a call to Tony, perhaps Andre? The details were murky, but her message was clear: Xander and Philip had agreed to cancel the merger. Back at the office, Philip confided in Brady that Titan might not survive without the Demaras. Maybe, he admitted, we should take the money and run. It was a chilling acknowledgement that the Kiriakis' legacy could soon be history. Shadows in Salem, Stephanie's stalker? As if corporate drama and rekindled romances weren't enough, Salem itself remained cloaked in unease. In the deserted plaza, Stephanie felt the prickling sensation of being watched. She turned, but saw nothing, unaware that a man holding flowers was silently following her from the shadows. Alex, ever attentive, looked around too but failed to notice the figure lurking just out of sight. The scene was tense, the silence heavy with menace. Stephanie tried to shake off the feeling and went home, but the figure didn't disappear. Instead, he stepped out from the shadows, tossed the flowers into a trash bin, and walked away. Whoever he was, his intentions seemed dark. Salem may have survived the blackout, but a new kind of darkness was stalking its streets. Final thoughts. Friday's episode was a masterclass in balancing high-stakes business drama, tender romance, and eerie suspense. The battle for Titan's survival revealed cracks not only in the company but in the relationships holding it together. Sarah and Xander's reunion delivered passion and heartbreak in equal measure, while Maggie's quiet deliberation hinted at a possible shift in Titan's leadership.